Hello, everybody. It's Trish again. We are here with Falcon, and I am having such a good time today. I have enjoyed getting to know all these moms, even though we're in the group together. A lot of times we don't get the time one on one with anybody, and so I have really enjoyed meeting everybody. So, Falcon, you're next. So,
Hey.
thank you for joining us today. It's so good to have you here.
Yes. Hi, Trish.
How are you?
Good. How are you? It's so
I'm
good to
good.
see your face. I feel like we've talked a million times, but it's so fun to see your face.
I know, we have. My fat little face. COVID has not been good to me. So, anyway, okay. So tell me, one of the things that I want to talk to you about is so you're in California, right? You're
Yes.
in Chico. So you're
Yep.
there with the Rainmaker kind of
Woo!
foundation.
I am. Yes.
So your story is going to be different. So how
Mhm.
did you so who were you before Rainmakers and how did you get involved with Rainmakers?
Yes. Okay. So I actually went to high school with Chelsea. So
Uh-huh.
her and I were friends
Oh, that's so cute.
before all of this. And her and Steven's story is very similar to my husband and I. So Steven is about 2 years older than Chelsea is. So he was in college when they were dating in high school. And the same thing was happening with me and my husband at the same time. And so our stories kind of were parallel together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so basically, my husband and I moved to Kentucky and Minneapolis for like 5 years. We left Chico, and he was studying to become a pastor. And I was a stay at home mom. So at the time, we had two boys. Now we have two boys and a girl. And
Oh.
I knew that pastors don't typically make a lot of money. And so I started to brainstorm, like, how can I start making money from home? Because we didn't know, like, what type of he was going to end up at, if they could pay him full time. And so I was like, how can I help, basically? And before I had kids, I worked in a lot of really administrative jobs, and I was doing a degree towards graphic design, which I had to stop. And I was like, I had all this creative energy. I just didn't know what to do with it. And so one day I saw the Target ad, of course, on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I know Chelsea and Steven. Maybe I should try this thing. And I just did it on a total whim when I was pregnant with my second son. And here we are a year later. So, yeah.
That's so much fun. Was it weird seeing Chelsea on the video and you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know her."
Yes, it was super weird. I was like, I know Chelsea and Steven. That's so weird.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, every single person I know that's a rainmaker, except for you, you now have a little bit of a twist, but you still saw the video, which is so
I
funny.
did. Yes.
So,
And I'm a
yeah,
Targetaholic, like hardcore Target addict. So I was like, oh, I could watch that.
that right? Right? So
Yes.
that we will share the video later so y'all can get an idea of what we're talking about. It's a really cute video of Chelsea in
Yeah.
Target. So, but she's doing product research essentially on the fly as she's walking through
Mhm.
Target with her child. So,
Mhm.
so you have been so you actually worked for Chelsea and Steven too, and
Yes.
you've also been launching products. So you're just been a
Yes.
busy little girl. Except for
Thank
having
you.
babies, you pulled out.
Yes. So, yes. So I was working doing basically the email management and also
Oh
like
yeah.
helping with comments and stuff. And so when I had my daughter, I just told them, like, hey, I got to go on maternity leave. I can't do this. And so they actually reached out this challenge, and I'll be doing the same sort of behind the scenes support. So
Oh
I will be
good.
helping to answer emails and questions and all kinds of stuff. So it's like every time there's a challenge, the customer service needs are just a lot more, and so they kind of reach out to people. So I will be the behind the scenes person for this challenge as well. I'm excited.
So if y'all join the challenge, you know who you'll be dealing with. Okay, so what is your product? What did you and how did you come up with your product?
Yes. Okay. So I came into it with all of these ideas of things that I wanted to make, and none of them were good. Like number wise, product qualifier wise, they all were terrible. And one thing I really, really wanted to make was the like a foam play mat, the puzzle pieces that kind of click together. And I thought, oh, I could make a really beautiful design and it would be great. Well, as I started to learn more about the process, I started to realize why that was a terrible idea. So part of it was that the FBA fee was very, very high. It was like
Right.
over eight. It was like over $8 or $9. The other thing was, like, I had a very strict budget of 3 grand. So my husband and I have agreed I will not spend more than 3 grand on like my first product and the whole shebang, shipping, manufacturing, all of that. And so as I started to look into the numbers of that product, it was not looking good. So I started to So a
Yeah.
different route. Well, at the same time, I went to a craft fair with my mother-in-law, and I saw this thing that I had never seen before. It was called a Tooth Fairy pillow, and it was this dinosaur, and the woman had stitched on a pocket, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so, so cute. And at the time, my son was 4, so he was just starting to like get loose teeth, starting to think about it. And so I went on Amazon and I used the X-ray tool with helium-10, and the numbers actually totally fit what the product qualifiers were. So the other thing was that my son's really, really afraid to lose his teeth. He hasn't lost one yet. He just turned 5, but just the idea of it really, really freaks him out. And so I was like, how can I make this like a more pleasant experience for him? So when I saw that Tooth Fairy pillow, I was like, this is such a sweet idea. And so I went on Amazon and I was like, I just didn't like any of them, honestly. I was like, I could make something cuter than that for my kids. And so it was important to me that it was gender neutral because I had, at that time, I was pregnant with a girl. I had sons. And so I didn't see any on there that were gender neutral. They were either really masculine or really not. And so I kind of went down that route of manufacturing, and the numbers looked great. And so I made one.
So, and I love it. And I'm getting a lot of feedback, so I'm not going to talk a lot. So
Okay.
anyway, show us your pillow. Do you have one with you?
I do, yes. It's this little guy here. He's a Benny.
Oh, he's so
I don't know if
adorable.
you can see it. So you can see here the idea is that the tooth would go in this pocket. So it says Tooth Fairy, and you can put the tooth in here and the money. And then it's got like velvet on the ears. His feet match his bandana. So it's just this little guy. The other thing was I put a gift tag on it. So you can see here.
Yes.
And I designed that tag using Canva, which Stephen and Chelsea taught us all about.
Yeah.
And then we also had to learn about tags when creating plush products. So this is my company name. It's called Winsome and Wonder. And yeah, so that's kind of my little guy. There he is.
So I was actually in the group. I hate that feedback, but it'll stop for here in a second, I think. Yep. Okay.
No,
So
I can't hear it. So
I can. It's really bad. But when I was in the group when Falcon was making this, and I remember you getting your first sample and how disappointed you were. So everybody, so this is not just, oh, we designed this, we send it to the manufacturer and they bring it and then they come back. It was not that way for her. She got a very disappointing, at least one. I know you got one. It was just one that you were really disappointed in, right?
Yeah, so I had 2, but I also, before I went into the Tooth Fairy thing, I was also pursuing making a candle for women who had miscarriages, because I was kind of fresh off of having a miscarriage. And I got like 4 samples and all of them were terrible. And so that's when I decided to go this route. And I only had 2 samples, and this one was really good and the other one was not so good.
Yeah. So that's something else that I want to make sure everybody realizes is, it's a process. It's, you do get the samples and we do look for things and try to make them better. And it's really, sometimes it's a short process. Sometimes it's a long process. And it just depends on what you're bringing to market as to how complicated it is.
Right.
So when you were doing all the research and checking all the boxes, I love that you went with the gender neutral. I think that's brilliant because a lot of moms want it to be able to be passed down with one child, but some don't. Some can't afford that. Some have one pillow that there's going to be shared with all the family. So that was smart. I really like that. So what is it that when you were thinking about rainmakers and people that are thinking about joining, what would you tell them? Because you can already hear, oh, I don't have the money, or I'm not creative, or what are all the obstacles? What would you say to them to encourage them?
Yeah, I think the best thing about this program is the flexibility of the schedule. Like you are your own boss, and the fact is that like you can take the program as quickly or as slowly as you want. So for me, like I literally only had 30 minutes a day when my kids went to bed, because I was also working on the email stuff behind the scenes. So I was like 30 minutes a day. And so the fact that I could just devote that time was what was most important to me. And as far as like creative, like I was studying to be a graphic designer. So like I have that naturally, but if you don't, there's so many tools that they teach you, like how to utilize Pinterest trends, how to analyze Google trends, like all of these different things where you can literally sort of like, they use this phrase, you can't reinvent the wheel, like we're all kind of
Right.
like just innovating and making things that already exist better. And so really there's just so many tools at your hands that even if you're not super creative, like you can really, I don't know, overcome that, I guess, by looking at what's already out there and pulling inspiration from family and friends. A lot of people do polls with their family and friends of how to make a product better or what design would be cute. Like there's all kinds of things that you can do. But yeah, the flexibility of the schedule, that's the number one thing for me.
And I hadn't even thought about that, but it's true. Even for me, I'm one of the owners of Hip Homeschool Moms, and we have Hip Homeschool Moms and Weird Unsocialized Homeschoolers and Only Passionate Curiosity and Homeschool Road Trips. So we have all these other things that we do. Of course, we're not traveling right now, but normally we would be.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to fit it in too. So this kind of took the place of Homeschool Road Trips, since Homeschool Road Trips is kind of sidelined for a while. So
Mm-hmm.
this was my replacement for that. But it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I work at night. I was joking earlier about not being able to figure out how to make my product on sale. And so at 1:30 this morning, I'm in the group typing, going, "Help! I
I
don't know
saw
how to do
that. I
this."
know. I saw it on there. I'm like, all you have to do is change the price.
Yep. So it was so funny. I wanted to see. I was going to do the price if I couldn't figure out how to do the discount, but I wanted to show that it was on sale. And so I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
just drop the price. I wanted to show that it was on sale. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
there was a very specific thing I wanted to do and I couldn't figure it out. But that's the luxury of our group. The group is
Yeah.
there for each other and they help each other. And
Yep. And
the person,
we're all in different time zones too. So if you
yeah.
post something at 1 a.m., you're probably going to get a response.
I did. I did. It was 1:30, and Hanny
Yeah.
actually responded to me. And so it's amazing. But more than that, even, is that people want to help. You know,
Yeah.
it's a community of people that really want to be there for each other and want to help each
Yeah.
other. And that to me
Yeah.
is can be kind of surprising because there's a lot of times you see the competition and people are worried about somebody else stealing their idea. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have somebody else that's doing a tooth fairy pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Not anything remotely close to the same, but
Right.
and so
Well, so like
you,
later, I think you're interviewing Nicole,
yeah.
and she has a tooth fairy pillow that she just launched this week, and it's
Hmm.
so cute. It's very different looking than mine, but at one point she had reached out to talk to me about safety testing because when you produce a child's product, there's certain
That's
safety
right.
testing that needs to be done. And we had this great conversation. I added her on Boxer. We're like boxing back and forth, talking about like labs that she could use, and we just had this sweet conversation. And so there was nothing in me that was like, oh, don't you make a tooth fairy product, So yeah, it's very, very sweet. Stephen and Chelsea are always saying community over competition, community over competition, community
That's
over
right.
competition.
That's
And so
right.
that really, really has just stuck with me. And like there is just like they also always say there's just enough money to go around. So even if like later
Yep.
on, I think Floor is also going to be interviewed, and she has a similar product. And there's just enough money to go around. There are so many thousands of eyes that are on Amazon, and so you just I don't know, you just don't have to worry about competition, I guess, within our group.
Well, the one of the things I loved was this book, the 12 Months to 1 Million that he challenged us
Mm-hmm.
to read in January, which I love that he challenged us to read it, number one. But number
Mm-hmm.
two, I love the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I love some of the ideas in the book. And one of the things that they talk about is your tribe and following your tribe and doing, kind of, even if you are doing the exact same thing, y'all literally are all three doing the exact same thing. You have
Mm-hmm.
all three implemented very different products, and you're
Mm-hmm.
all three going to be successful in your space because
Mm-hmm.
you're reaching different people for different reasons. And I
Right.
love that. It was really encouraging me, reminding me that it's not a competition. We're not in a race,
Yeah.
we're in it for the long haul. So,
Mm-hmm.
where are you on social media? We want to be able to keep up with you and follow you. So tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, I'm going to be totally honest. I don't have any social media
None yet.
for my brand, not yet.
Okay.
And that's because I'm kind of in the situation where I feel like my first product was really a test run. Like, can I launch a product? Can I figure
Yeah.
out PPC advertising? Can I really do this? And so really my like passion is more along the lines of Christian education for children. So I
Right.
would love to be able to produce like board books that have like theology in them and that kind of thing. So I didn't want to create this whole social media account around this brand regarding my tooth fairy pillow because my like long-term view is really in Christian education. And so I'm
So
kind of like,
Falcon's
yeah,
bringing a different perspective. We've talked about it a little bit. So there's the product perspective and the tribe perspective. This one
mhm,
is definitely a product for her. She's not going to build a tribe around it, and
right.
she's not going to have, and that's actually really in a way part of what you're trying to do is this passive income. And especially with you
Mhm,
just having a baby, you didn't have time to do all of that. And so
right.
I can totally get that you are focusing on the passive piece of it right now and going with the
Exactly.
product versus
Exactly.
going into building that tribe around you. And that's
Yeah.
smart for your stage
Mhm,
where you are. That is totally
yeah.
smart. So I
Yeah.
love that. And there is a place for that.
Yeah.
So okay,
So
so we will not share.
my husband, so he's a pastor. He just got hired on at a church, and so we're in this huge transition. We're just moved into a new town. We're in a new house. We have a new congregation of people. I have a new baby, and so I went about the most passive that you possibly could with a product. So I started an auto PPC campaign. I haven't done manual or broad campaigns at all, and that's like pretty much it. Haven't even made it through the 12 months to a million book. Like, haven't started Instagram because I just needed it to be passive. So I launched it and I just let it be. And it's kind of passively, I check my app once a day and that's
Yep.
it.
And that's what it's supposed to be. That is
Mhm.
literally, that's what a lot of people are looking for is passive
Yeah.
income because they still have
Mhm.
another life. They still have other things they're doing. They're still
Right.
homeschooling. They're still doing whatever it is that they're doing. And
Right.
so that is exactly what people are looking for. So I love that
Yeah.
you bring that perspective. You're the first one that
Yeah.
has been totally passive. And I love
Totally
that
bad.
yeah, I'm glad. I'm totally
Yeah.
glad because I want them to see that too.
Yes.
So that's wonderful. So I'm not going to share about that. I do want to do a giveaway, but because our comments are messed up, we're going
Mhm.
to do a giveaway over the weekend. And so I'm going to reach
Great.
out to you and just ask you how you want me to do it. Do you
Awesome.
have a website? Are you gathering emails? Are you doing any of that? Or you're like, none, leave it alone. Okay.
It is literally just sitting on Amazon, selling or not selling, doing its thing. So I will provide you with a link if people
That's
want to go
wonderful. Yep.
to
Please do.
Amazon. But I still have my Google document from when I did my giveaway, so I could give you
Mhm.
that link too. So
Okay.
somehow, some way, I can get someone a free product.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Well, we'll do it that way.
great.
And so thank you for joining me today, Falcon. It is so
Yay!
interesting to hear your story. I mean, that's really I did not realize how aggressively passive you are. And isn't
Yeah,
that who would put those two words together? Such an
yeah,
oxymoron, but it's very true. You're aggressively passive on this
yeah. On
product.
purpose. On purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's wild. And that's actually I that's what I want us to be. I really want us to get to the point where
Mm,
it's either selling or not selling, not because of us, because I don't want my
yeah.
tribe to feel like they have to buy our stuff. But we want them to
Right.
buy it if they love it, obviously.
Right. Well, so really quick, you mentioned you did Sharon's PPC clinic.
Mhm.
What does that look like? Does she analyze your account or does she just teach
Mhm.
you like bullet points of PPC? Like what is that?
All of it. She actually, so she limits it to 20 people. So there's only 20
Okay.
of us in there. And right now there's not even 20, but there will be, I'm sure, after. So Sharon today posted in the group
I know
her
I saw.
win. Oh my gosh. So Sharon has she's the first rainmaker to hit 100. Well, maybe Steven did, but she's the first one of us that hit
Mhm.
$100,000 in a month. So she's
Yeah.
on track to sell 1.2 million this year, which is insane. She's been
Yeah.
doing it for 3 years. She's not brand
Yeah.
spanking new at this. So she's probably
Yeah.
this is her fourth year,
Yeah.
going into her
And
fourth
she
year.
has multiple products. It's important
Yes.
to note that that's multiple products. That's not just one product that's selling.
Lots of products, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. She's launched a ton of products. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, her group is we're live like a Zoom call and she does the Zoom call and then when she gets through with the Zoom call, she does not record it because she's going into everybody's account and
Oh,
sharing
okay.
from their account. So it's
Okay.
very, very active, very involved. So she
Okay.
doesn't want to share your information and save that. So what she does is, so like this time she was going to do a manual campaign video. So she went out and created a manual
Okay.
campaign video, and she was showing them how to get their keywords off of Cerebro. And so she was
Okay.
doing a video on that. So she's very, very active on both sides. She does
Cool.
both the hands-on, and it's 2 hours every week doing
Wow.
that.
Okay.
I know. And then you can post in the group and she answers questions in the group. I did a negative keyword and did it wrong. And so I was probably blocking all of my traffic.
Oh
And I
no,
posted
did you do the like exact phrase
I
verse?
did exact phrase
Oh
instead of
no.
I know. She's like, no, 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 no. Go turn that off. Go archive it right now. I'm like, okay. I thank goodness
Yeah.
I posted it right after I did it. So, but
Yes.
that's
Okay.
the luxury of community, is helping you figure out all those
Yes.
crazy things that you do wrong. But yeah, she immediately is like, no, 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 don't do that.
Go
So
out of that
I
bubble
know.
right now.
Well, and luckily, even my campaign, it had maxed out for the day, and so it wasn't running anyway. So
Oh,
thank
good.
goodness. Yeah, so thank goodness it was only like 20 minutes, so it would have killed me. But it was funny. I was like, I had a feeling I did that wrong. So anyway, live and learn, right? We're
Yep.
growing as we go through it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope you do it. Do it. It's definitely worth it. I just it's my first week, so I'm just figuring it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
That's
It's really
so
good.
cool. I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. I am going
Yes.
to get your information, and I'll get all that posted so they can follow
Great.
and go find your Tooth Fairy bunny, and we'll get the giveaway for this weekend, and we'll circle back
Awesome.
around. Okay, thanks,
Yay.
Falcon. Thank
Thank
you for
you,
joining
Trish.
us. Okay, we'll see you
Bye.
later. Bye.